Good day. Welcome to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast live. This is the 94th episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. With me this morning is Desmond Richards, journalist and founder of Rebel Radio Jamaica. We should be joined by Patrick Maitland, publisher of the Agriculturalist magazine and Street Hype in New York. I'm Franklin McKnight. Let's get right into it. You can share your comments with us and your questions throughout this podcast. Desmond, welcome.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Desmond,
good morning to you and your viewers and listeners.
Tell us what's on your mind today. And tell us what's on your mind today. We are seeing a little bit of finger, I think. But tell us what's on your mind.
Well, you know, the crime problem in the country, sir, remain very important, devastating, and critical. And also, I have some views on the Integrity Commission. That is the one of the institutions that we have to watch, prepare, and give all the assistance we can.
Now, I want you to start with the crime. But a colleague of mine said to you yesterday when he heard that you were going to be talking about crime, he said, crime again, Desmond? Come on, man. Crime again?
Yes. Well, I am sure thousands of Jamaicans are probably asking the same question, but from a different perspective. Because thousands, as we speak, thousands of Jamaicans are impacted on this devastating crime problem that we are having in the country. Franklin, viewers and listeners, those who can afford to hire private security, I am sure, in the two Jamaicas that we have, those in the upper classes who can afford to hire private security and are living in the upper residential areas in the corporate area and in the country, they are not affected. But the hundreds of thousands of the masses in the ghettos and in the lower part of the economy, we are feeling it. The crime problem, I would suggest, is the number one problem in the country right now.
And have you seen anything to suggest to you how this crime problem might be solved? Or is it that we're going to keep talking about it, talking about the numbers coming down 10% or going up 10% over the next few years? Have you seen anything that says mentioning it or bringing it to the public consciousness is going to change anything?
Well, sir, it is clear to me then, let me say, and I
Seems that we lost Desmond there, you know. I think we lost Desmond there. All right, I'm going to go on to a matter that is one of those recurring things for Jamaica. Fires at public markets. Now, a week ago, fire destroyed roughly a third of 150 shops, just about 50 plus shops at the shoe market in the center of Montego Bay. No one really knows how much was lost. No one knows. The municipal corporation, as the St. James Municipal Corporation, does not know. The corporation owns the property on which the shops are built, on which the 150 roughly shops are built. But the corporation doesn't collect rent or any form of charges nor fees for the market. According to the corporation, people have been squatting, running these shops on its premises for over 20 years. This, according to the deputy mayor of Montego Bay, this is the fire last week Sunday, that is the fourth fire in 20 years. In 20 years, the fourth fire. Now, fires seem to be an affliction of Jamaican markets, don't they? There's a market downtown Kingston called Ray Market. It has had 6 fires or so in the last 5 years. And people have been losing all the time, and they've been setting up and going back there. Now, you would wonder, wouldn't you? Well, and there was another fire, a big fire earlier this year at the Musgrave Market in Portland, in Port Antonio to be exact. Lots of people suffered again. Begged for help. Help came. Where next? Now you would wonder whether in 2023 that we couldn't have an arrangement to retrofit, put in sprinklers, ceiling sprinklers, wall sprinklers, and all that for people who do business in these markets to get rid of fire, extinguishers. Ask the municipal corporations that are responsible what arrangements there are to detect and put out fires in these markets. There is none. And this has been going on and on again. All right, so here's where we are now before we bring back in Patrick Maitland or Desmond Richard. So here's where we are now. We are at a stage where they are making arrangements for the market vendors to continue to recommence operation. All of them, those affected, and we grieve for those affected. We really grieve. They are making arrangements to get them all back by December. that is the municipal corporation, which owns the property, which collects nothing from it, getting them together for Christmas sale. You know, everything changes in Jamaica over Christmas. May I tell you that the entire market operation at the shoe market, the entire operation there, where people build their own stalls, unregulated by the parish council or municipal corporation, operated without their regulations. That whole situation started nearly 2 decades ago because vendors needed somewhere to go by Christmas because of the movement of another market. What can I tell you? That's where we are. Welcome, Patrick. Viewers, you are seeing on the screen some of the operations around the market. Welcome, Patrick. We're not hearing you.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, what are you taking off on today? I hear that you want to talk about investments.
Yes, you know.
Investments again.
Well,
Desmond, we're not seeing you. Okay, Desmond,
yeah,
we're not
but
seeing you, Desmond.
You
You gotta put on your camera. Desmond, we're not seeing you. And you are retorting because Patrick retorted that to you on the crime. Desmond,
Right.
we're not seeing you. You need to turn your camera on in the studio.
Yeah.
You see, what is happening to Jamaica right now is really a lack of investment in every area of the economy. And as a result of that, the economy is growing, but at a very slow pace. So despite all the other elements are seem to be in place, with the exception of crime and violence, the investment climate is just not there. Now, I must criticize the investment minister. So he's going around the island with what they call it, like a town hall type of operation, where they are carrying investment, like what they call it. Desmond, help me with that. It's so
but they're on the road. It's a road show that
it's
they're
a road
doing.
show.
Yes.
And I'm saying investors don't go to road shows like that. A person trying to invest in, let us break it down.
What you're talking about it, people with millions.
People, not even say millions, but serious investors won't be going to a road show to sit down and to wait on a minister and to listen to this. No, that's not how investment are gathered. You have to create the environment for investors. So let us say go back to my field of agriculture.
So the environment, what is it going to take to create this environment? And Desmond, your mic is muted. We're seeing you a little bit there and you're gone again. What is it going to take to get the environment that you're talking about?
All right, there's a number of things. One, the incentives for the producers or whoever must be there. So if it means you have to reduce some government regulations that are stifling, you have to reduce taxation, just like what they do when they are attracting overseas investors. A lot of little things they do to really bring them in. So they just have to put in the elements like that. And those elements will help the small investors to grow. A road show won't really help them because people really know and have an idea of some of the ideas that some of the things that they want to engage in.
But so, with all the positive factors, and Desmond, we want to let you in right after this, but with all the positive indicators in a positive direction in the economy, Patrick, we can't get. Is it not just people don't have any confidence in this project called Jamaica?
Well, all right, let us break it down. Let us look at the different areas. So look at even the ganja sector, the marijuana industry. Despite the relaxation of the laws, it is still not very attractive for people to get into it. Because for one, you're still not able to sell it on the international market just like that. Because some of the regulation has to do with the US government not declassifying marijuana as a drug. And as a result, the proceeds from it would not be allowed in the to be
the banking sector.
In the banking sector. right? So that's a factor. The next factor is that it still costs a whole lot of money to get licensed right now. Costs a whole lot of money and the process is long and tedious. So it will discourage anybody. The next factor is that they are not treating marijuana as a crop. So the people who are supposed to be on the ground planting it, the farmers, they're still not up to date with a lot of the agronomic practices, you know.
All
And
right.
they
So give me before we go to Desmond, I wanted to come in now and finish up your points you were making about crime. But which Patrick doesn't want to hear about.
no, I
But
want to hear
Patrick,
about it, but I'm just saying that perhaps Desmond need to look at a different aspect of it rather than to just straight jacket with it. Come up with some solutions. I know it's not his job anyway.
Desmond, your time.
Yeah. Yes. Before I return to my topic, I just want to say something about investment in agriculture. When you look at Jamaica's agriculture, one of the things that you will see that investment is almost nil. Now, Gazan Azan started an agricultural project over and those lands in St. Catherine. And I recall him telling the nation that nobody is unable to get loans from banks to invest in the project. Now, here it is. You have us importing 1 billion US dollars worth of food annually. And let me tell you something. If you look at some of the importers of food in Jamaica are legislators,
Yep.
right? So you have a situation when those who are supposed to be looking out for the agricultural sector to boost agriculture and to put us in a position to reduce our spending, they are earning from it. Yes. Now,
Patrick, give us a response on that before Desmond moves on to
Desmond
crime.
is
Is that
Desmond is perfectly right. And
go
last week
ahead?
I mentioned that investment in agriculture, as recorded by the Development Bank of Jamaica, was some 140 odd million. And people are saying, no, it can't be that. But if you look at the PIOJ book, you will see it in it. 100 and I think 40 something million. That is all that was allocated to agriculture from the Development Bank of Jamaica. Bear this in mind, the Development Bank of Jamaica usually provide investment in every area, right? And most banks in Jamaica don't use their own money. They use the Development Bank of Jamaica. But it's true. And Azan did promise 2 billion, an investment of 2 billion. It didn't happen. And Desmond, let me remind you too that Lee Chin also got almost 308,000 acres, 3,000 acres rather. And I understand both projects is now collapsed. Nothing is really
All
going
right.
on
So
right
so so Desmond, get to your crime again because the time is running out on us. But go back to your crime because I want to also go into that agricultural thing that you're
yes.
mentioning.
And and this and the crime problem is a big negative factor on agriculture because predatory larceny is bleeding the farmers. And there are no plans as we speak. There are no plans. The police are incapable of attending to that problem.
But
No,
Desmond, how
Maitland.
do you deal with all these issues? We've been hearing, for example, that you could have made that statement 10 years ago and you can make it now. The problem is whether we're going to be still able to make it 5 years from now, you or somebody else. How,
now.
how
I
we
will
deal
say,
with those issues? Desmond,
Yeah,
before you comment, Patrick, because I know agriculture is close to you.
how do you how
How
do
we
we
deal, how we
what
deal with
what's the
something
question?
like that? Yes. So as
What
not to
is
have
the
it as a recurring problem, just recurring every year we're hearing about it.
no, I agree with you. It is a recurring problem. Is right? It's a problem. And I was speaking to some farmers in St. Elizabeth. Some of them had their farm close to uh, a, a, a aerodrome. And they told me that planes were picking up stolen cattle, stolen from farmers in St. Catherine, in St. Elizabeth rather. So this question of crime, the impact of crime on agriculture is huge, huge. Now, sir, Maitland, you said that probably I should approach the well. One of the things that I said, is that between 2010 and 2015, there was a reduction in crime in Jamaica. And that came about as a result of the Tivoli invasion and the crackdown on criminal gangs and dons across the country. So therefore, what I think can work, we have to focus attention on getting to the big players in crime. Crime is a big business. Those men, boys who are running around the country with M16s and automatic rifles, they can't buy them. They are just the foot soldiers. We need to attack and go after the generals and captains in the crime industry. That is what we need to do.
All right. Patrick?
Yeah.
A quick response to that, and
Right.
I'm going to put another matter on the table.
Right, there's a matter of clarity here. I know in recent time the police has stepped up its anti-predial larceny drive, and you would notice they have far more people being caught, arrested, and all of that for farm crime activities. So I wouldn't say it has not been improving. It has been, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. You say years ago, I told somebody that what has happened to agriculture is that the big people, the capitalists, are the people that matters in Jamaica. Well, when I say matters, the people who are the movers and shakers. They have left agriculture from 1972, from 1970. And if you notice that trend between now and then, agriculture is on a downward spiral. And if you notice, tourism is on an upward move because they have moved out into agriculture, move into tourism. And I said it before, what happened is that all the resources, they take it from agriculture and they continue to pump resources in tourism. If tourism wasn't getting government subvention, huge subvention, to put ads on CNN and to put ads all over the world, it would never reach where it is. So if you look at the budget for agriculture, 2 billion, tourism look like similar, but the other expense that they put in tourism is not in that budget. And so it's a matter of priority. The government since 1972 has not prioritized agriculture. No matter how you hear them talking, the priority is just not there. They take away
50 years,
best farmland.
50 years.
50 years, the best farmland, and that started from the 72 with Michael Manley. The best farmlands were taken out of agriculture, right? The subsidies were reduced, more so in the 80s when the JLP came to power. The lot of the subsidies for feed, for fertilizer, the what you call it, the penalties or the protection were removed in the 90s by the PNP. A lot of the protections that agriculture have were removed. I don't care who them say cause it, whether it's IMF or whatever. So from that era come right up, agriculture is suffering. They merge industries, they merge agriculture, all the little areas that to support agriculture were merged or cut out. Coffee board, look at
50 years of 50 years.
Look at the coconut board. Coconut board, the government was still claiming the money in coconut board, and all those monies in coconut board were from the coconut farmers, right?
Right. Well, before I come back, I'm going to come back to you on Desmond on what we should be looking out for, or what prescription you would suggest to any sector for the next week or so. But I want to really stay on that agriculture issue. But with this, I go to the markets very regularly. And over the last few weeks, I can tell you, and people know, food prices are. Well, first of all, they've never. Most of the prices I see have never been this high. I'm going to give you some examples. Scallion, $600 a pound, $600-$700 a pound. And I'm not talking in one market no, or with one vendor. I'm talking about some, admittedly, some North Coast vendors in the markets. In the market now we're talking, not the higglers on the street. Onions, $300 and $400 a pound. And work out these things at roughly 150 to $1 and you see where we're talking about. In other words, scallion before $4 a pound. Yam, well, it's down a little now, 200 to 350 a pound. Sweet potatoes, $250 to $300 a pound. It's coming back in. Carrots, yesterday, $300 and $400 a pound. Now, these food prices, and if you notice when they're talking about the inflationary effects and so forth, you see how much the local food prices are having. Why is it that these food prices are so high? Why is it that these products being grown in Jamaica are so high? And forget all the fluctuations that make the prices worse. Patrick, give us
so here what is happening now. So you might see.
We only have 3 minutes left.
Yeah, you might see something in the farm at farm gate selling for $100 a pound, and a few miles away in the market is 600. The farmers are allowing the middlemen, the vendors, the higglers to take charge of the market. And that's the problem we're having. They are allowing them too much.
No, Patrick, because
I'm telling you, that's a major problem.
Farm gate prices are not that high. What I can tell you,
farm gate prices are low. That's what I said.
Our production levels are low.
I'm saying saying the farm gate prices are low. All right. Right now, the
farm gate prices are not low right now.
No, I agree. Prices are moving up. But
why we can't get self-sufficient in carrots or red peas or one thing or two things or three things? Why is that?
All right. You see, a next problem we are having, I think the government extension service is too focused on the small farmers who have to be fed or assisted each time of the way, and they are not consistent with production. I think if the extension services and the investment arm, they focus more on farmers who can help themselves. I think it could have.
We're going to leave it there, Patrick. We're going to come to you with a prescription for next time, the next week, a 5-point prescription to transform agriculture. Okay, 5 points. You can give us. Desmond, you had mentioned the Integrity Commission at the start.
Yes. What I would love to see, and I would like as many Jamaicans to join me to ensure that the Integrity Commission is enshrined in the Constitution. We cannot allow the Integrity Commission to be torn apart and dragged down. It is one of the instruments that should be used to get our parliamentarians to account, and we must protect it.
All right. Thank you. And Desmond, give me a quick answer to this. People on the street say, look at all the corruption out here. It's not politicians doing this. Nobody is dealing with the corruption on the ground out here. I see Patrick bowing his head.
Definitely.
Desmond, how do you respond to that?
Well, you know, the corruption problem in Jamaica, is decades old. Yes, things are being done. The Integrity Commission and other institutions are working against corruption. But it is a long haul. It's a long haul. Look at it. 28 public officials are being investigated for illicit enrichment, 28 and 6 parliamentarians. Yes, so work is being done, but it is a long haul.
All right. Final word to you, Patrick, before I say.
Well,
Thanks to everybody for staying with us today.
Right. You see, this matter of integrity and honesty in public official is also another major setback. And in agriculture, I can tell you, I can name so much areas that the guys just went in and steal everything, and then nobody hears about it. There's so many projects that were started, funded, and nobody hears anything about it. I can tell you, the College of Agriculture has nearly $1 billion worth of project right now. And half of those projects still nobody knows where they are. And for some reason, the Ministry of Education is not doing what it's supposed to be doing for us.
You guys have not given us much cause for hope this morning. We got to go now, as we told people it's 30 minutes. We want to thank you, Patrick Maitland, publisher of the Agriculturalist magazine. He's an agriculturalist trained, and he is responsible for publishing Street Hype in New York. Desmond Richards is the founder of Rebel Radio, Internet Radio, Rebel Radio Jamaica, and he's a journalist and long-standing friend, both of them, for me. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning on this 94th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Highlights from this show will be on YouTube in a while. Thanks to Joshua Black Media Services. He's the man doing the streaming today. Thank you all for being with us. And please remember to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. Thank you all. Until then, this is Frank.
Respect.
Now.